Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of Beyond Parody. My name is Dan Dillon. I'm your host and the founder of Not the Bee, and I'm joined by our editor-in-chief, Joel Abbott, not Joel Berry.
It is I. Yeah, don't confuse the two. I don't want to be confused with that guy.
We have Robin. She's just Robin.
Just Robin. Just Robin. That's all.
She's rockin' Robin.
I'm not hard to find with my weird spelling, but here I am.
You're in Christmas colors a little bit. You're ready for Christmas.
I am very ready. Well, no, I'm not. I'm emotionally ready, but physically we are nowhere near being ready for Christmas.
And we have Mr. B.
Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho!
Maybe Mr. B
That was
is actually Mr. C, and we didn't know it until now. Mr.
Oh,
Claus.
I love
Mr.
that.
Claus.
Oh, I'll take it for this week.
Well, this is our last episode of the year. We are going to be taking a couple of week break after this until I think the second week of January. So this is actually the end of wrapping up our first year of this podcast. So this is the season finale. So we're gonna have to come out with, guns blazing. We gotta go out. I mean, this is like Stranger Things. We got to figure out a way to wrap this thing up, right?
And very ambiguously at that.
Have you guys?
Are we going to end on a
Things?
cliffhanger? We got to think about that. What's the cliffhanger going to be for our dedicated fans?
I don't know.
Does anybody on this podcast watch Stranger Things besides?
I love season 1 and season 2. Season 3, I don't remember. Season 4 was fine, and I haven't watched the new season. But my son did, and he said it was really good.
I watched.
I've not heard anybody
20
say
minutes
it was
of the first episode years ago, and then never watched anything.
The first season's pretty good, and it doesn't get into any wokeness, and it doesn't do anything weird. It's just a good, like, it's kind of like, it's actually just like E.T., the whole storyline. It's like a slightly darker version of E.T. So that's, it's good, and then it kind of goes crazy, and now it's got the whole woke DEI thing, and now Netflix is buying Warner Brothers, which is crazy. It's like two woke companies joining forces. How could that go wrong, right? Like, that's a monopoly right there, right? I mean, if Netflix actually closes that deal, and
Netflix has not been. I don't know. I feel like Netflix is largely to blame for a lot of just the mediocre pablum that we've had coming out in culture the last little bit. All of the Netflix, like if I see a movie that's made by Netflix, I don't watch it. We don't have Netflix anymore, but we did for a while. And they make bad movies. They don't edit their scripts. They don't edit their movies very well. They have good ideas, but they're never executed well. Some of their TV
they're made for TV movies. They have low budgets, and they're not, what.
But even some of them have huge budgets. There was like a Chris Hemsworth movie a few years ago that my husband and I were super excited about. That was this big action film. I'm sure somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. And we watched it, and an hour into it, both of us said, "Are you bored?" I was so bored. It was an action movie.
I'm just concerned about if Netflix takes over the whole. I was already concerned about the Harry Potter series. My girls especially are huge Harry Potter fans, and we're really looking forward to a little bit more detail than the movies gave us. But man, I'm so concerned about what's going to happen. Now, J.K. Rowling is involved as an executive producer, so I think that she's going to try and keep some of the wokeness out, but she's only like involved in the movement of being anti-woke in like one very specific way, right? Like she's not a conservative. She's not somebody with Christian moral values or anything like that.
Harry Potter won't be transgender, but when it comes to everything else, like,
but there might be a romantic interest between Harry and Ron or something like that.
Right?
It's like you never know.
You don't know. And think about all the other intellectual properties that are there. I mean, Lord of the Rings is on the table.
Oh my gosh.
You have all the DC Comics universe, all of that. I mean, Scooby-Doo and all of Flintstones, all the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
They already wokeified Scooby-Doo with that Velma show that Mindy Kaling.
Oh yeah, they did already wokeify
the one that bombed.
The one that bombed so bad.
They wokeified, I think, Woody Woodpecker.
Did they find?
No, I'm just making a joke.
Are you making a joke?
It'll be interesting to see what happens, and yet they just keep going. It kind of reminds me of there's been a lot of chatter about food quality getting worse, and it turns out that there are these big companies like Cisco and others. You order something from one restaurant, and it's essentially coming from the same frozen packaging center as a meal that's prepared in another chain restaurant. It's all just becoming this blob of mediocrity. And it's like, it's not just happening. Like, it's happening in the food industry, it's happening in the movie industry, it's happening everywhere. And Netflix does sort of represent that. But that being said, I do think that they actually released a few somewhat funny Christmas movies this year. There were actually my wife and I will sit down and watch cheesy Christmas movies.
I don't watch anything new that's on Netflix. Only stuff that's old. I can't risk it with the kids around. So
that is true. You have to be very careful with that.
As a quick interruption, I just want to say thank you for joining our show. We're going to get in the news in a second, but I do want to ask, if you are watching the show, if you could give a like to this video, give a little comment below, let us know what your favorite Netflix show is. Do you guys watch Stranger Things? Are you guys on board with that, or did you guys cancel? I know there have been many opportunities to cancel Netflix. The Cuties thing comes to mind, and what the heck is going to happen with the merger with Warner Brothers and Harry Potter especially. I think we do have a lot of people who are probably Harry Potter fans who follow us, but give a like, give a comment, subscribe. We're constantly fighting the YouTube algorithm. We are not necessarily winning yet, but I think more and more as people get more involved in discussing the video and the comments and things like that, it will really help to boost us. So go ahead and give us a like, and hope you guys stay for the whole episode. So this week, we have tons of news to talk about. Everybody expected that we were going to war with Venezuela yesterday, I guess, or at least Tucker thought that we were going to war with Venezuela.
I was actually one of those people who I wrote an article kind of explaining what's going on with Venezuela and why we have the policy that we do. And this is coming from somebody who is not really an expert on Venezuela, just kind of looking at the chess pieces on the board. I'm like, guys, we're not going to war with Venezuela. That's not going to happen, because the actions they're taking right now to put pressure on them, that's what Trump does. He's not going to declare war. It's going to be a super boring, kind of meaningless press conference, but everyone was freaking out.
Do we think that Venezuela has WMDs, or what are we saying?
I don't think so.
Okay, George Bush.
Mission accomplished.
Nuclear.
Well, yeah, Trump is really good at posturing in order to get people to go along with him. He's actually pretty good at that. I mean, it's part of the art of the deal, right? I mean, it's like, if you don't act strong and you don't act like you might take action, nobody's going to take you seriously, which is how the United States has operated for the last, 12 years for the most part, except for the 4 that Trump was in there. But, I didn't think that it was going to escalate into anything. Tucker seemed, I actually watched the clip with Tucker, and people have been really hard on Tucker or really supportive of him. But he really just said, I don't know that this is what's going to happen. But I've heard that it might, and I think that it might. That's all he said. So he wasn't really like sold on this thing, and then it didn't end up happening. I thought that was like a news story about how Tucker was wrong about that with his sources, but he wasn't. He kind of had an even approach to it. But we're not going to war with Venezuela. That's good. But there is a war that is going on right now in the United States, mostly amongst people on the right. And there was supposedly a peace treaty of some sort that was arrived at this week between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk, which, let me just say, first of all, before we get into the back and forth about it, it doesn't matter whether or not you support Candace Owens, and it doesn't matter, what you think of her as a person. Erica Kirk, I support Erica Kirk, and I support Turning Point USA. I did before Charlie was shot. I still do now. But she shouldn't be taking meetings with people who are trying to assassinate her character and trying to sink her company.
It legitimizes the crazy.
Yeah, it's like having a meeting with terrorists. It's like they are literally holding you hostage. Like, I really don't agree with the idea of even addressing it. Like, for a while she just ignored it, and then she even said to stop, and she didn't. She should have just left it at that. Candace was making her own bed and kind of rejecting everything that she initially said, which is that if Erica ever asks me to stop, I'm going to stop. But the whole thing is, I wouldn't have counseled Erica to meet with Candace. There should be no peace between them right now.
No.
Like, until Candace stops implicating that people at Turning Point USA were involved in Charlie's death with no evidence whatsoever, there shouldn't be peace.
No.
And her supporters will get on here and be like, oh, she's she's asking questions that need to be asked, because what if it's true? But you don't just go, you don't shoot first and then try and put the pieces together, right? And she came out guns blazing, trying to make it seem like, first it was very close to the beginning. It was us. It was, Seth and the meeting in the Hamptons. And then it was all Israel. And then it turned to Egypt.
And then it was the Mormon beehive cult. We got
the beehive cult. And then it was Turning Point USA internally.
And Egyptians and maroon t-shirts.
And she just says she's just asking questions. And she's not, though. She's not just asking questions. She's implying heavily. And when you have people who listen to every single word that you say, implications become reality to them. They really do. Like, you say things enough times and people start to believe it.
Right.
And there are a lot of people out there who really legitimately think that people at Turning Point USA, some of the people that I know personally that are very good friends with us and were good friends with Charlie, were involved in his death. And now she won't name any names. She went on Piers Morgan last night and she won't name any names about who these people supposedly are. And she's not naming names because they don't exist.
That's the thing. It's all implication.
Yeah, there's no people at Turning Point USA that would have had Charlie murdered. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
The question that I have often, as I've watched her, is whether or not she actually believes what she's selling, or if this is just her
a grift.
Yeah, I mean, does she actually believe it? She's always been. She really hasn't changed that much in terms of what type of person she is. She came from the left. She had somebody was floating around like a criminal complaint. I can't remember. It had to do with her apartment, rent, something like that. I don't remember the details, but you look back at her history and you see that she's been this kind of firebrand, off the cuff type of a person. And that endeared her on the right, because she was somebody who was like, look, I have woken up to the lies on the left. That didn't mean, in my mind, when I watched her, I go, okay, this is a crazy person, slightly crazy person at the time, at least I thought, who has come on to the right and is willing to kind of be a hammer to show how the left is even crazier. But then as she got more and more legitimacy, people made her this figurehead within the conservative movement. And as it turns out, she was never really what people thought she was. I actually don't think she's changed very much. I just don't know whether she actually believes what she's selling.
Right.
Maybe she does. Maybe she genuinely believes it, but it's just conspiracy to conspiracy.
Yeah, and you're entitled to that opinion. There are a lot of people out there who think that she does legitimately believe it, and that's fine. You know what? I would never tell somebody to not watch Candace Owens. It's fine. Watch it.
Would.
But like also be. I wouldn't. I think my wife watches Candace Owens. I tell her when I'm in the room with her, please stop playing that. I can't listen to it.
Turn it off.
But she watches it but she watches it with critically, like she understands, the nuances of the fact what a difference between an implication is. Candace comes out and she makes strong statements, but she always uses legal speak. If you notice, she always throws in language that says allegedly. She always throws it in really quick and really, really, really fast. She says allegedly. Like you can't actually hear the word, but she says it.
It's like she thinks that that's just a magic get out of free card, which is kind of funny.
But it is a magic get out of free card, because if she ever got sued for it, she could say, "I said allegedly." It's like the Talladega Nights thing. It's like I said with all due respect. It's like you. It doesn't just give you the, but that is her license. The word allegedly is her license to say anything. And to say it very emphatically, as long as it comes in the same sentence as the word allegedly.
Right. It reminds me of that quote when I listen to her and I think it's so poignant here, that says, have an open mind, but if you open it up too much, your brain will fall out. Mm-hmm. And I think about that so much, because let's open up the umbrella and just whatever sometimes I do this, in a quiet conversation. Let's just go the craziest route possible with this. Let us make the craziest argument for the Kennedy assassination or the Charlie Kirk assassination or any of these. Just but then in public, you keep things on the rails, because if you are, there's room for asking crazy questions, and those usually happen in private conversations. But when you are on a big platform, and you do have a responsibility on a big platform, you do. And just to say shocking, crazy things, and now for Erica Kirk, to your point, Dan, if you give this stuff oxygen, the fire gets larger. It just does. And I think the only way to really deal with it is just to kind of like, okay, like, can we not validate this?
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to spend too much time even necessarily talking about it. Like I said, you can watch the Candace if you want. There are some people who really enjoy watching her. It's fine, whatever. You can do what you can do what you want to do with your life. But you just have to be mindful of the fact that like she's been talking about having receipts this entire time and has shown not one receipt. And she went on Piers Morgan last night and just watch this. Just watch the contradictions between what she said. I believe it was about 3 minutes earlier in the same conversation with Piers. I actually don't think Piers Morgan did a great job in interviewing her. He didn't push her hard enough. But here's a clip of her basically she says in her own words, implicating people at Turning Point USA and Charlie's death. Then 5 minutes later says she never said that. And so we've got the clips playing back to back here that I can share, and you guys judge for yourself whether or not she ever said this.
Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. There had to have been people at Turning Point that were complicit in having this happen. I didn't say that they murdered Charlie.
You said people at Turning Point were complicit in his murder.
No, my exact sentence that that there were people at Turning Point who are engaged in a cover-up.
No, you didn't.
I believe that thoroughly.
Candace, you didn't say that. You said literally.
I did say that on my entire show.
You said there were people at Turning Point complicit in his murder.
Okay.
That's what you said.
Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. There had to have been people at Turning Point that were complicit in having.
So anyway,
it's fun to just look at her logic. She's very confident. She's very confident. But there really is a lot of what she's saying there. The idea that there must have been, that's her argument. There must have been. Logically, that doesn't follow. If you actually think through that, the reality is that someone actually could just take a gun and go up to an unsecured building and shoot someone that they don't like. That's the simplest answer. And if you actually parse out logic, is it more logical to believe that literally everybody on the planet, including us, apparently, are part of the government cover-up psyop here to take out Charlie Kirk and threaten Candace Owens? Or is it more likely that Candace Owens actually is part of the psyop? Like, what's more logically probable? And so you just from that basis, I wrote an article that actually looked at a lot of scripture, and scriptures, you can take it back to scripture, and what does scripture have to say in all the times in human history when you've had people like this who've made claims of conspiracy like this and prophecies that never come true, and they're always vague about things. And we have plenty of examples for those who are Christians to look back in the Bible at how to handle situations like this. But it just...
And that's why Allie Beth Stuckey's response to all of this stuff was really the best. I mean, there's the one person who's responded better to Candace than anybody else has been Allie Beth Stuckey. And she's amazing. And she always goes back to scripture. You'll know people by their fruits. And it's like, Allie, you can see it, right? Like, and then, I'm not here to judge anybody, but I don't see that. I don't see positivity. I don't see fruit coming from this conversation that's going on now. Granted, and this is my last disclaimer with this, I'm not even saying, Candace, you shoot blindly into a barrel and you're going to hit a fish or whatever. It's like she might be right about a couple of these things.
A broken clock is right.
And I am never a person who believes the media / government description of almost anything. That like verbatim. I don't believe it. Like I think that there are questions about that day about like, well, how did he get shot? And the bullet didn't come out. This is a legitimate question. Like that's a legitimate question. But that doesn't mean that people at Turning Point were complicit. It's like I don't jump from having questions. Well, how did he get off the roof and get the gun, deconstructed that fast? It's a legitimate question to ask. And asking questions is 100% fine. And there's a trial that's going to come up, by the way, where we're going to get answers to a lot of these questions. But, when somebody goes on, whether it's Candace, whether it's Tucker, whether it's me, whether it's anybody with any voice at all, or somebody who doesn't have a voice, and starts demanding things of Erica, the widow, and starts demanding things. What standing does Candace Owens have to demand the FBI respond to her, putting things on Trump's desk that he must respond to?
She's saying that she's more important than the man's wife.
Right.
That's what she's actually.
Yeah, she's saying, at least I care. What she's insinuating is at least I care enough about Charlie to get to the bottom of this. Yeah. Right. That's like that's so messed up. And that's why I'm upset about Erica meeting with her. It's because like, yeah, you can always try to make peace. You can always try to be a peacemaker. But like right now, Erica needs to be focused on other things. I actually think that Erica probably, in my personal opinion, shouldn't have taken over Turning Point yet. Whether Charlie wanted her to or not. Yeah, you got to give this thing. You got to give some time to get your family, like get your kids right, get your family right. In my personal opinion, and the fact that she's going out and fighting these battles right now, like she's probably not fully in the state of mind or capability to do this stuff right now. She needs to be focusing on herself. That's my personal feeling. Now, I can't tell her what to do, but having meetings with Candace Owens has got to be so high anxiety. Like, why add these extra stresses and unnecessary like darkness to your life right now when you've already gone through so much? But anyway, I don't want to talk about Candace Owens anymore on this episode.
Let's go. What's next?
So let's talk about anything else.
Let's talk about something funny.
Let's watch our blonde-haired breakdown. This is not a blue-haired breakdown. This is a ridiculously blonde-haired breakdown.
Is this that video of Robin from Tuesday or no?
I'm only mostly blonde. I've got some roots. Who knows what I am?
This is frightening. So this is
oh my gosh, I haven't seen this.
This is a drag queen.
That is not blonde. That is a whole new hair color.
No misgendering now.
Is this geisha, like Japanese kabuki theater?
This is
I don't know
the American version of geisha, the terrifying American version.
Gosh.
This is at a church, actually, I think in Canada.
Well, that makes sense.
And
this needs to be on the picture.
We don't even need to play the video, right? Like this is just enough.
No, if you're listening to this, I feel kind of sorry for you because this is fantastic.
Visual, very visual.
Let's watch and see what happens here.
He's got a beard, a mustache.
Oh boy, what a treat to be here this morning, as I am most Sunday mornings. Oh. Queen of the back row of the choir, I like that. You know what? I think we can punch up. Front. Queen of the basses will also suffice. Unless Ian or Cliff, one of you wants to be the queen. No.
This is at church with these. Why do they have kids in like the Sunday school is like next to the stage? What's going on?
Seriously, I love being a part of this community as a part of the choir.
This is frightening.
Music is such a beautiful way to connect with ourselves, with spirituality, with the world around us. And I'm so excited I get to share this part of me too.
Oh, goodness.
Because let me tell you some...
This looks like something out of the Upside Down.
What church this is denomination is this?
You can keep going. The person, like, this is the opposite of Christianity. This is look at me, praise me, continue clapping, you can clap more. Like, this is like...
Oh, boy. That feels good. I'm really deprived for affection. No, but seriously, the one of the things about drag is that, unlike Vegas, what happens in drag does not necessarily stay in drag. Sometimes you put on those heels. Sometimes you put on that wig. Sometimes you try a piece of clothing that somebody said is not for you, and it unlocks something. It unlocks something fierce. Maybe it unlocks something. Maybe it's not fierce for you, but for me it was fierce, as you can tell.
I think he's talking about autogynephilia.
Yeah. Is he talking about sexual stuff? Like, I mean,
it unlocks something. I mean, that's actually that's a very brazen admission right there. He might not even know exactly what he's saying, but that's a very brazen admission. It unlocks wearing women's clothing, unlocks something in you so that you can put on this act in front of people and you're getting something out of that. What is that something that you're getting out of it? Lots of questions there. Yeah,
in front of kids.
A church service.
In front of those kids, what are they learning? This is awful.
And it's so crazy. And I've said this before.
They want the kids to learn that.
We have venues and outlets for performance art where there is, in the theater especially, there's a lot of gender bending. And we've got Cats the musical, which is one of my favorite musicals. And you've got guys in makeup and leotards prancing around and whatever. That's theater. But if you're in a church setting with children there. This is not
picturing that movie Cats right now, and it's horrible.
the new one with Jason Derulo, and
I haven't watched the movie. All I've seen is the clips. Taylor Swift was in that, I think. Too.
Taylor Swift was in it.
Oh,
Everybody was in it.
That's almost as bad. Taylor Swift as a cat is almost as bad to me as Sigourney Weaver as a blue person in Avatar. Those are my fears unlocked.
Not stormtroopers.
No, it's not. Not it. What was it? A yellow Jeep? What was it?
A white Jeep Cherokee.
White Jeep Cherokee.
They look like stormtroopers. Joel, you missed out last week. We talked about our fears.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you my main fear when I was growing up. Actually, I didn't even mention it, but I think that I shared this fear. I think this was like almost a unanimous thing amongst kids that were
roller
born
coasters
in 1985. No, it was the Kool-Aid Man. Bursting through walls. I had so many nightmares.
That is funny.
I had so many nightmares. I think I was probably 4, 5, 6, somewhere in that age range. And I couldn't get the Kool-Aid Man out of my dreams, man. I couldn't escape it.
Now I know what to get you for Christmas, Dan.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Next time I come down to the office, I'll just come in. Oh, yeah.
Have you guys seen the Family Guy thing where he just like comes through like completely randomly, like at some point in time? He's like, oh. And he's like, he's in the wrong spot, you know? It's like, oh, it's so funny.
So That's bad.
Great. We got to find that clip. We can interject that clip real quick.
My favorite headline that I've ever written for the Babylon Bee, hands down, is Kool-Aid woman shatters glass ceiling. And it's her coming through the glass ceiling like, oh, yeah.
That was good. Was that published?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know, 2 years ago or so. Of all the meaty, like cerebral headlines I've had published, that is my favorite by far.
So there was another headline this week that included a breakdown of sorts, and this went super viral. I'll play the video, but this is a woman who works at Target. She got harassed by an employee who didn't like the Charlie Kirk shirt that she was wearing.
Yeah, there was a customer, and then the employee's name is Jeannie, and she has a Freedom T-shirt on.
All right, here we go.
Why? They let you wear that shirt here?
Yes. Why?
So,
why are you taking my picture?
Why are you wearing that shirt? You're working. It's not a Target
red shirt. I can wear any red shirt.
It's not a plain shirt.
It doesn't have to be
a Charlie.
This lady is not this woman's boss, by the way. She's just some random woman in a Target telling an employee what they can and can't wear.
Kirk shirt.
Yes. Yes, I know.
Are you fucking stupid?
No.
Why the fuck would you wear that? You're at work at Target. That's not a Target shirt. It's not a plain red shirt. You support a racist.
I'm not racist.
Ugh.
Support a racist.
He's not a racist.
Yes, he is. Yes,
so
he
freaking painful.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stand here and argue with you.
You're not. You should go get your manager. You should not be allowed to wear that at work.
Go get the manager.
Unfucking acceptable.
What?
The opinion is he's a racist and you support him.
That's your opinion, ma'am.
And you should not be allowed to wear that. This is going to be taken above your fucking head. That's insane.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Insane.
Nice day.
Wow, that lady handled that a lot better than I would have.
She definitely did.
Yeah.
She did. So the good news here is that the woman, Jeannie, the Target employee, has now raised over $212,000.
Oh my gosh.
The internet has raised money for it. Started off as, hey, let's just get her some money for a nice vacation.
Well, she didn't get in trouble, right?
She didn't get in trouble. No, because she handled that very professionally. If you listen to her, she's sitting there. She's allowed to wear any. I mean, again, this is just a shirt that says Freedom, has an American flag, and then Charlie Kirk's name. That's it. That's it. And this woman comes up and is like, you support a racist. And she says, I'm sorry, I'm not going to stand here and argue with you. And she's like, you should go get your manager. And the employee, Jeannie, goes, that's your opinion. That's your opinion, ma'am. Have a nice day, and walks away. And was very professional about it. But the internet tracked down where this woman, her name is Michaela, and she works at Enloe Health, which is a nonprofit healthcare company out in California. And it created a firestorm. Their CEO had to come out and release a statement on camera saying, hey, please stop calling us. You're overwhelming our phone lines. We're handling this situation internally. We understand that these comments were made. So it's become this whole thing. And Jeannie, to her credit, has come out now. The latest news, she said, I don't want the woman to get fired for confronting me.
I saw that. Yeah.
And she even said, she's like, look, She's the one that posted this on Facebook.
Aren't hateful, but just consumed with hate.
Yeah, she just wants. She's like, that's her opinion.
With hate. Yeah,
it really is. I really hope that with this money she can get a really nice vacation. That's what I think. I'm like, man, it's got to be hard working at Target over the holidays as is. And then you get harassed.
One thing I would say though is I do think that the one thing I would agree with the crazy lady that assault, I would say that's almost verbal assault. Almost, it's kind of close to whatever.
Yeah, I think the police were actually investigated if it met that threshold.
Yeah, I don't know that it did, but the one thing I would agree with is the idea that you can just kind of wear whatever red shirt you want. Like in this case, I'm not offended by that red shirt, but the reality is like, what if somebody wears something with a satanic symbol on it?
What if it's a Planned Parenthood,
or a communist red?
Yeah. So my opinion is that Target should have more guideline than just any red shirt. Like they
make
should.
uniforms great again.
And either needs to be it should either be a plain red shirt or a Target red shirt. Like you shouldn't just be letting people at a big company like that walk around with potentially political messages. And from the left, they see the Charlie Kirk thing as a threat because they believe the media sources that they've listened to that have said that he's a horrible racist and a terrible person and he deserved to die. So from their perspective, it is a shirt that represents something bad.
Right.
And that's a failure of the media almost more so than anything else. This woman, who knows, guaranteed CNN and MSNBC, viewer right there.
Yeah.
The one person who's upset about Rachel Maddow not having her show anymore.
I didn't even realize that. She's not on the air anymore?
She's not on Nightly. She's only on.
Oh, that's right. I saw a video with Rachel Maddow, and I'm not trying to just jump on the bandwagon of whatever, but someone said Rachel Maddow says blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's not Rachel Maddow. That's a man. Like that is 100% a man. And then I watched it and listened to it and realized, no, it is Rachel Maddow. But
it's Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire. That's the running joke is that the two are actually the same.
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier. The biggest conspiracy theory I believe is that Pierce Morgan is the homeless woman from Home Alone 2. He came out and denied it.
He keeps denying it. And it just, again, this is how conspiracies work on the internet. You have to be, somebody denies it, they make a big stink about something, and then people go, well, that's evidence that. And you have to understand how these things, it's like the whole thing with the Brown shooting. The authorities are handling it in the absolute worst way. There might be reasons for withholding information, but they're coming out, the way that they're doing it is just adding. It's like you have to wonder, they're so bad at PR. They're
that was another thing we were going to talk about.
Are they purposely trying to, but
I've never seen a PR nightmare worse than the Brown University shooting.
Come on,
it's a lesson that should be taught in PR classes on what not to do. I just don't understand how the experts are so bad at this.
Yeah, you're inviting every conspiracy theory possible. And, it doesn't help their cause that they defend a very specific ideology, and the person who was killed is represents kind of the opposite of that ideology. It makes it look like they are covering it up for somebody. That's what it looks like. And there's all these things now that are like, okay, just like with Candace Owens, you can ask questions. Like they said, there's no camera in that classroom, yet there are pictures all over the internet from the closed circuit television camera that is in that classroom. And the question is, of course, well, does that camera still exist in that classroom or not? Because there certainly was one. That's how people know what the inside of that classroom looks like. It's from a CCTV camera. That's the picture that's being taken that they're showing. So they're saying there's no camera in there, but then they don't address, well, then where'd that picture come from and blah, blah, blah. It sounds and looks and feels like a cover up. Like you can't be that incompetent.
I will say
incompetent.
Oh, go ahead. Modern day forensics PR is a minefield that 100 years ago or 50 years ago, if there was a gruesome crime, the law enforcement didn't necessarily come out immediately. They'd give a statement to the press and that was it. There weren't pictures. It is this new world we live in where anybody can jump online and look stuff up. And Brown definitely has not handled this well, but it also is interesting to me that we do live in this information starved society that wants immediate knowledge right now. And the investigation is ongoing. Do they need to tell us every little? They've done it. They bungled it for sure. But I do wonder what the future of PR looks like as we can get people that can LoJack CCTVs and find their own information. Like, you lied about this, you lied about, like, I don't know if we lied about it. We were just still kind of trying to work to figure it out. But
well, it's like that side of the entire side of the campus where this happened had all the cameras removed. The Palestinian Studies Department, like, apparently requested they be moved because it made people of color feel uncomfortable or something like that.
I heard that the company that installed the cameras in Brown University are the same people that installed the cameras in the jail for Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
That's it. There you go. Connect it together. I think you're right. I think you're right, Robin, that people that people are so hungry for information in our day and age that they're not willing to be patient to wait for the process. And the reality is that the justice system, it sometimes it's a slow burn, and they have to make sure that they have everything correct before they go and arrest somebody. But at the same time, I don't think those in authority understand how nobody trusts the institutions anymore. And they are the ones that have torched that credibility over the last particularly 5-10 years. And so you have tens of millions of Americans who no longer trust that the government actually tells them the truth in any way, shape, or form, that it actively discriminates against them, that it's actively trying to harm Americans. And then you look at this and you go, okay, there were these kids that were murdered in broad daylight, and you can't find one person, and there's images of FBI agents kicking the snow, and they're coming out. And meanwhile, you have people on the internet who are doing gait analysis. They're coming up with all these things. They're finding CCTV camera footage. They're naming names. Somebody found a gun review for a muzzle brake and from someone. And it becomes this thing. And then once the internet theories get out there, the authorities go, well, don't believe everything that you hear on the internet. And it's like, that's not a satisfactory answer. Right. That's not actually transparent. You should come out and you should have some type of a Twitter account, social media presence where you can address rumors as they arise and say, you know, this is not connected to this, or, you know, try to dispel that. Instead, they're just coming out and being like, well, just trust us. And we don't know anything about that, which only adds more fuel to the fire. So I think they have to begin by understanding how little we trust them now.
Well, I did PR for many years, so I will offer pro bono services to the Brown University Law Enforcement Group. If you want to contact me, I would be happy to write you some statements and to help you navigate.
I was going to say, this is like basic stuff from my you know, I'm a communications major, you know, and so you take PR classes, you take advertising, you learn some of these basic fundamental things. It's not like I've worked in any massive firm or anything, but you'd think that the people that are in charge of like an entire state police agency, for example, or the FBI might have slightly more competence than just a random guy.
You think so, but that's putting a lot.
And you never know but this is true too, though. Like I am skeptical of the FBI when Trump is in office. I'm skeptical more of the FBI when Trump's not in office. I'm skeptical of the institutions for sure, 100%. But also the internet and our need for like immediate information also fuels this feeling that we're entitled, just like Candace Owens, to some sort of answers while they're still doing an investigation. And there are so many reasons why you can't let people know what line of evidence you're looking at, what things you are doing and aren't doing. And it makes it seem like you're not doing anything. But in reality, like, this is the way that investigations do actually work. Whether you believe they're being done impartially or not, that's a different question. But like, you don't just get to know every single, you're not sitting in the room with the detectives trying to solve the case, which is what Candace Owens is trying to do and insert herself into these investigations that the public isn't supposed to be a part of. But that's also why we don't trust the institution. So it's like this double-edged sword thing. It's like, like they need to do their job, but at the same time, them doing their job is one of the reasons why we don't trust them. Like, because they're doing it. In some cases, they're doing it the right way. With the Brown University thing, it seems crazy. Like, even with the Charlie Kirk thing, there were leads that were coming out within hours of this. There was video. There was stuff that you could see. Okay, this is the guy's face. He's wearing glasses, but this is what he looks like. There was stuff trickling out. With the Brown University, it's just there's just nothing, and it doesn't make any sense because you can't just go on campus and shoot two people and then walk off campus and then there's no trace of what happened. Like, it can't be what it is. But sadly, there's quite a lot of violence that happened this week. There's also the Bondi beach shooting, the Islamic group that went and shot, I believe 15 people died in Australia.
Father-son duo.
Yeah,
Awful.
father-son duo, we'll talk about not trusting the institutions. Let's listen to this clip of a woman who was present that tried to actually grab a gun from the police officers who are not doing anything to protect people.
Hiding. They're hiding. They were hiding.
If you live in Australia, this is why you don't trust the institutions, because of this exact thing. So let's watch this clip real quick.
These police officers were hiding behind a car. I tried to grab one of their guns. One of the other one grabs and he says, no, I'm trying to grab for his gun. These men, these police officers, they know who I am. And I hope they're hearing this. You are weak. You could have saved so many more people's lives. They were just standing there, listening and watching this all happen, holding me back.
That's sad.
Awful.
It's heartbreaking. And there were also, there's a bunch of memes and stuff like that going around of the female police officers that were like hiding behind cars as well. But it wasn't just the female ones. Apparently it was all of them. I mean, there was a detective who did end up shooting the dad, the father, the terrorist from a distance. And then there was a civilian who ended up tackling the guy the son, right? And
he disarmed him, but he didn't shoot him. He got up and got a sight on him, and then the guy ran off.
Yeah, because he thought he would get in trouble by these Australian authorities, so he didn't know if he should shoot a guy shooting at people. It's ridiculous.
Probably right. I mean,
if he
had shot him, he'd probably charged with murder. The whole situation is just so unbelievable. And it's just a microcosm of exactly what's going on there. Like the authorities, the government are not there to protect the people anymore. They're to let this group of people in to do whatever the heck they want. And you say, well, why would anybody want that? And it's like, it's an ends. The ends justify the means. There's a lot of globalization and other things going and money moving in order to get these people out of these countries and into these countries and to destabilize the Western countries. Like there's a lot of motivation for this to happen. And that's the answer as to why this is all happening. It trickles down and you build societies where men aren't men and men don't act like men and men don't, testosterone and masculinity is frowned upon. And you get men, police officers hiding behind police cars, not shooting their guns, while a woman named Vanessa wants to take the gun and go do it for them. Right? Like it's just how civil wars happen. She has more testosterone than those police officers.
The weak police men also creates hard times. It's that quote. Weak, and this is men of all races, ethnicities, and backgrounds. Weak men create hard times, and we are seeing a epidemic of weak men in the U.S. and everywhere else in the Western countries now.
The police came out and they said, well, these men had rifles, so we just couldn't engage them with handguns.
That's how he was taken out by a handgun from an investigator.
See, the thing is that we have plenty of evidence. Everybody was sharing famously Eli Dickens in Indiana. Indiana's now a constitutional carry state. There was a mall shooter, I want to say 3-ish years back. And Eli Dickens with a stock Glock 19 took aim from, I believe it was 40 yards away was when he first engaged. I mean, it was like a ridiculous distance. And he hit this kid that came out of the bathroom with an AK variant rifle and hit like 9 out of the 10 shots. I mean, it was just amazing. And you'd be hard pressed to find a police officer with that level of accuracy. The reality is that there are many valiant police officers, but a police officer is not you. And if there's a situation where a police officer is thinking, well, I want to go home to my wife and kids, or, what am I going to do here? Not every police officer is going to say, well, I want to just jump in front of a bullet. The reality is that you have to be able to defend yourself and your family. And so Australia, like many countries, denies people the ability to do that. They say, well, we'll keep you safe. We will keep you safe.
The other problem
doesn't happen.
The other problem is that you have a government that obviously doesn't have your back. So you end up with situations like Derek Chauvin and stuff like that, where if you do try to enforce the law, you could be held accountable. And so there's also that's going through their brains as well. Like, right? Like I have to think about my engagement and how I do this. Whereas what they should be thinking,
Muslim terrorist, I might be called a racist.
And in these situations like this, you would hope that would be like, you would just be like, I have to save people. Like, I just have to do the right thing. It doesn't matter what happens to me. I have to save people.
Right.
You would, but when you basically eliminate any type, like, you don't have any media, you don't have any institutions that praise masculinity at all anymore. It's so taboo to praise masculinity. And I'm not talking about fake masculinity. I'm not talking about Andrew Tate masculinity. I'm not talking about, benching 450 and driving Lamborghini masculinity. I'm talking about
benching 210. Let's just.
I don't think Andrew Tate can bench 450 pounds. That's not who I was talking about. But I'm just talking about, like the fake masculinity isn't what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just honest to goodness Christian men defending their wives, defending their children, and standing up for goodness and standing up for truth, no matter what the consequence personally. We've lost it as a society. We've lost it as a goal. We've lost it, like these societies, these honor societies, like Japan and things like that. Like they do some things wrong and they do some things right. And one of the things is that they do right is that they glorify important parts of the masculine side of our personalities, and honor and respect and dignity, and to have a functional society, you have to have that. You have to have it, and you're losing it. It's gone. It's gone in the UK. It's gone in Australia. In fact, it's not just gone. If you post about it online about how it's a good thing, you're going to go to jail. Like the guy who's going to jail today for his 2 tweets about immigration that happened after the car massacre.
Yeah.
In what country was that in? Germany?
It was in Germany. It was the Maddelberg. And those were, to be clear, he was actually inciting the overthrow of parliament and burning down hotels and things. But the question there was, okay, we also cover stories where there literally was a Muslim man that ran with a knife at someone who was burning a Quran. And because that man felt emotionally distressed by the burning of his holy book, he got no jail time, but he literally tried to stab. He's sitting there with a knife going, I'm going to kill you, as he's trying to stab this guy. And he was let off with no jail time. And then you have a British guy who's very upset that a bunch of people were just slaughtered by a Saudi guy in Germany who ran through, the video's horrific. He 70 miles an hour zoom through a whole crowd. And he's upset and he's like, we have to do something. Like we have to do something. Our government is not helping us. And yeah, there's incitement to violence. You could say he does deserve to be tried for that, but why are the standards different? And in the UK, I don't even know if we've published a story yet, but our team is working on it. They're introducing anti-misogyny training now in school, an additional level to help teachers prevent boys from being misogynists. And it's
Which is so anti-feminist. Isn't the whole point of the feminist movement that we can take it, that we're strong, that we can deal?
It depends on the day. It depends on the day and who, what agenda's up for. But yeah, it's like, no, the Christian standard would say we need to have equality for women. We need to respect women. We need to protect women. And also we need strong and dangerous masculinity that is moral, as C.S. Lewis, a Brit, would say. We need Lancelots who know how to be fierce in battle, but meek in hall. And,
right.
and the UK is not interested in that. They're saying, well, we need to make sure that there's not misogyny, because misogyny is the problem that we're facing. That's what's causing the rape crisis, and that's what's causing all these mean tweets and stuff like that. It's like, you've got it completely wrong. Absolutely wrong. And until you fix it,
did you see the thing that that Elon retweeted? I don't know the veracity of it, but it was something like in Poland, the numbers the numbers escape me. I'm not don't take these as direct quotes, but something like in Poland, it's like 1.3 out of 100,000 women in Poland are raped, which is sad. But then very when you hear what it's like in the rest of Europe, where they've allowed, so Poland rejected asylum-seeking refugees, right? Mm-hmm. So Poland said, we'll get fined by the EU. We don't care. We're not letting these people into our country. Their current rape rate is very, very, very low. In the UK, it's something like 173 women out of 100,000 will be raped in the UK on an annual basis. And so it's like orders of magnitude. It's like almost 3 orders of magnitude, larger number of women are being raped in those countries where they are accepting these asylum seekers. And it's crazy that the world, but all of this is going to be blamed on misogyny of white men, right? Like it's all going to be blamed on people more like me and you, Joel, like, Christian white men. We're the ultimate evil. Yeah. Like all I want to do is live peacefully and help other people live peacefully as well, and defend people. If I'm in public and I'm carrying, you better believe I'm going to use my firearm. Now I'm blessed to live not only in the United States, but also in DeSantis state.
Yeah. Where I feel you can get away with more than I can. I
feel like I could actually do it without even thinking about it. But I mean, imagine being in California and having a gun and something bad starts happening and you have to start thinking about, well, am I going to spend the rest of my life in prison even if I save these people? Like, just look at the negative impact that has on our mentalities for helping people. And the Daniel Penny thing is another example on the other coast where it's the same thing. And now you have people lighting people on fire on trains and everybody's just standing there watching and people are like, why is nobody doing anything? Well, if you do something, you're potentially going to go to prison.
Right. It's so hard. I am a mom of 4 sons. I have 4 boys. I have some teenage sons. And I always thought everything was pretty black and white. You just teach your boys to be men. You teach them to be men. But I am learning more and more that if they want to exist in this world, they have to learn. I don't even know. I don't know what the answer is. I had an experience this week that's so on topic for this, where my son came home. He said, hey, there's this girl in one of my classes, and she called me essentially a sexist because I said, and he told me what he said, and it was not sexist. And I said, oh, buddy.
What did he say?
I don't remember what he said, but it wasn't sexist. It wasn't. It really wasn't. And I would call him out if it was, and it wasn't. And I said,
he said,
buddy,
hey, toots.
Yeah. I said, buddy, sometimes you just have to learn to shut your mouth. And he said, I thought you told us sometimes we just have to say, to speak up and say what's true, even if it's hard. And I'm like, oh, yeah. That too. And he's like, well, he was essentially asking when do I speak? I'm going to say speak truth because sometimes that word even speak, but when do I say true things and when do I keep my mouth shut? And it was an interesting conversation because as a little white boy, I do worry, like, buddy, if you go to school saying, men should be respected even on a level like that, you're going to get hate. And it's so hard to know. And I'm just feeling in the dark and trying to live principle-based, trying to teach my kids principle-based truths so that they can navigate the world. But it is hard. If my boys are super manly boys and then they go to college, heaven forbid, at some liberal university, they could get expelled for saying nothing, for saying, yeah, hey, babe, or something like that. Oh, yeah. It's just crazy. There's an inside joke we have in our family where if I say something and my kids want to make fun of me, they'll go, women, which is funny. And we all laugh. But if they take that joke on the road, they're going to get in trouble.
Toast.
Yeah, toast.
That's like the bread. It's sad because the bread and butter of good comedy is pitting men and women against each other in a fun and playful way. And people do it all the time. It's like you poke fun at women for parking. You poke fun at men for not being able to find things that are right in front of their face. Like there are actual differences between the genders and we can actually lovingly
No, there are not, Joel. That is hate speech. You can't say that. There are no
73
differences.
Genders that there's no differences.
We're all the same from the waist down.
But it is sad, and you have to, like, as a guy, the only thing that's going to keep you sane in this current world is turning to Scripture and helping and discerning, praying and discerning. When should I be like the Apostle Paul when he's being all things to all men? He's in the city of Athens. He's talking to people in their language about their, poets. He's not getting into the nitty-gritties of Jewish theology, and the Old Testament law, the Mosaic law and everything with them. He's tailoring his message. He's speaking with, a certain grace. He isn't being as forceful with them. And then there are other cases where Paul's super forceful and he's saying, I wish that these people that are of the circumcision party that say you have to be circumcised to be saved would go the whole way and castrate themselves, right? And so you get Paul, who is being kind and sensitive to the culture on one hand. You also get really forceful, I think you should castrate yourself, Paul. And there's many examples of that throughout history. There's many, or throughout the biblical narrative, there's many times where you see, again, it's the Lancelot. How are you meek and hall? You're loving, you're kind, you're sensitive. You know how to do that in a masculine way.
You must not be talking about the Lancelot from Monty Python.
But not the Lancelot from Monty Python. Although he did save, who was it? Sir Galahad the Pure. He did save him. He did save him. Very horrible fate with all those women.
Well, Joel, you'll be happy to know my older kids, and they're going to listen to the show. So big surprise, boys. They're all going to get pocket Bibles for Christmas this year.
Yeah, there you go.
Because, and I don't know what our listeners think about, I know some people think marking up your scriptures is blaspheme, but I'm going to give them their Bibles and give them a marker and say, keep this with you. And when you read a verse at school or something, just mark it up and remember it, good. Because I think that is an anchor for them. And
yeah,
I don't know, in this crazy world. Tell me in the comments. How to
I have four. I'm on the opposite side, so I have 4 daughters. I have 4 daughters. I have 4 daughters, and when I look at what's happening in our big cities, in the UK, everything else, there's a reason that I'm starting to take them to the firing range, because we do live in a day and age where, as a white man, if I defend myself, there's a guy in Michigan right now who's going in front of a court for shooting. Like the 7th time his garage was broken into and he shot through a door without a window. So he got charged with a crime for defending his property. And so that, like, that's happening and I have to be aware of it. But the good news, I guess, for my daughters that I think of is that if I train them to carry and they do carry and they have to protect themselves from someone that's trying to assault them, the courts are going to be more lenient for them. At least right now in our current culture. I don't know where it'll be 20 years from now, but I do have to think about that with 4 daughters. Every time I work on one of these stories, I think about my own girls. And I think about the fact that these weak officials, weak police officers, everything just like gun confiscation and mass migration are the answer. They're not going to solve the problems. They're actively trying. I think about my daughters. What are my daughters going to have to do in order to protect themselves? And that's a serious question that I think all parents across the Western world are asking right now.
Yeah, modern day parenting is it's not like our parents were doing it. I'll say that. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot going on.
Let's go ahead and transition to some B headlines.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
We only had one, I think, headline published this week. Let me go back to it here and find a way to share the screen, which I still can't figure out. There we go.
53 episodes.
All right, Robin, it's your turn.
Oh, I'm reading. Okay, let's see if I can see. Okay, I can see it. Oh, wait, I'm gonna have to lean in a little bit on this one. Okay, from Westland 619, Trump gifts a free oil tanker from Venezuela to Barron for Christmas. I think we did Melania. I think we did something with Melania.
We said Trump worried reports of Venezuelan oil tanker seizure have ruined the surprise of Melania's Christmas gift.
Yeah, I wrote the copy on that one. That was a lot of fun. All right.
And then featured ones. Let's look at some featured ones. So these ones were not published, but were featured.
Okay. Unique sheep. Cause of Brazilian deforestation linked to CVS print receipts. That's good.
That's good.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me. I'm gonna pull this up and show you guys this real quick because this is crazy. This is actually my favorite thing at Buc-ee's, and this is like become a. So I have to stop sharing this. Okay, hold on.
I have never been to a Buc-ee's. Am I allowed to say that?
I have to do that, and now I have to do this, and I have to share a different.
I've never been either.
Am I allowed to share my
far north?
Dan, am I allowed to share my Buc-ee's pic of you right here on the podcast?
Sure, go for it. I love that.
I want to know what.
So look at this real quick. This is my favorite. This is my favorite item at Buc-ee's. It's the chicken burrito. This thing is freaking awesome,
dude. You stole my favorite item at Buc-ee's. That chicken burrito.
But watch this. It's going viral for this reason. I actually don't know. Is this real? I don't know. I'm actually going to Buc-ee's today because I'm driving
station burritos.
Driving to North Carolina.
No,
so
it's not. No, Robin. It's not a anyone who lives in the South will tell you it is not a gas station.
No, it's not.
It's amazing in there, Robin.
But watch this ingredient list. Watch this ingredient list.
Oh.
All the dyes.
Mechanically separated chicken parts.
That can't be real.
Oh, that's so gross.
Guys, I'm going to go.
The diameter of the burrito.
Oh, it goes over on the other side.
It's $8. It's $8.50. You're telling me that a burrito that you get at Buc-ee's is $8.50. That, to me, that's even more ridiculous than the ingredient list.
It's 7 pounds of food, Joel.
Is it? That's that big?
It's extremely heavy. Yeah, okay. I mean, it will fill you up. It will fill up anybody.
Okay.
Did you guys see that on the ingredients list?
What?
Eye of newt.
No, I'm going to go to Buc-ee's and I'm going to give a picture to Mr. Beast that he can post it here. what the actual ingredient list looks like so we can determine whether or not this is real. But tonight I'm going to Buc-ee's. I'm going to take that picture.
Do they have Buc-ee's where you are in your area?
On my way to North Carolina. So we're going up to North Carolina for Christmas. We're in South Florida right now. Nice. So we drive by 3 Buc-ee's on the way, which is delightful. So you can just time your stops. They have the cleanest bathrooms, the best food. We actually
Joel, my phobia last week was using public restrooms, but I don't care. Buc-ee's.
It's the only place. It's the only place.
We are getting 2 Buc-ee's in Utah. But we have Maverick in Utah, which if you know what I'm talking about, Maverick is I think the equivalent of Buc-ee's, but it is a gas station, but they're the nicest gas stations. We're on a road trip. We always look for Maverick. They're big.
The competitors are not really competitors. They're not. They talk about Tim Hortons and they talk about Sheetz and they talk about Wawa and they talk about, I guess, Maverick. I don't know. But they are not real competitors. When you go to a Buc-ee's, it's completely different. It's like going to Disney World.
It is like going. It is crazy. I mean, it's a grocery store with a gas station attached. And the thing is that here in Michigan, we're too far north. Michigan doesn't really go much of anywhere unless you're over by Detroit. You can get over into Toronto. And so there's really no reason to build really awesome service stations throughout Michigan because the traffic volume just isn't there compared to the rest of the Midwest. And so when I have to stop at a gas station bathroom, it's like the concrete, dirty, occasionally if you stop, if you're in town and it's a nicer chain, then you will sometimes it'll be better. But most of my bathroom experiences are exactly what you would think of out of a horror movie. So
I'm not going to your state, Joel.
Mr. B can think about that.
Thanks for selling Michigan to us, Joel. We're never going to go there.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. All right. Now, Mr. B, you want to end this with, this is the last personal question segment of the season.
Of the year.
Season finale. This has all been building up to this.
Better be good. No pressure.
This is the best question I ever came up with in the entire year. Joel, this is for you.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm ready.
Sock, shoe, or sock, shoe.
What? What does that mean?
Putting them on in that order?
Do you wear 2 pairs of shoes?
No.
He's
asking you if you put on
shoe,
socks first and then shoes,
or sock, shoe.
It's socks first and then shoes.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Sock, shoe.
My clothes are all the way across the house from my shoes, so it would be really weird to bring the socks to where the shoes are, then put on a sock, then put on a shoe.
Joel, I pictured you putting one pant leg on, your sock, your shoe, and then your other pant leg, your sock, your shoe.
There's this children's story. It's a whole series about. It's like Froggy, the Froggy series, and there's a whole thing about that where this frog wants to go out and play in the snow, but of course his family hibernates for the winter, and so he's trying to he puts on a sock, he puts on his underwear, he puts on all this other stuff, but then his mom's like, "You forgot your coat," and he has to keep coming back inside and taking things off one at a time, and that's all I could think of the whole time that you were asking me that question.
Sock, shoe,
what type of mad person? It's like the person that puts milk in a bowl before cereal. People that should be kicked out of society.
Why is that so wrong? That seems so wrong.
Dan, do you pour milk before you pour your Fruit Loops?
I do not. That is messed up.
Okay, Robin, your question is cereal milk or milk cereal? No, I'm kidding. Actually, this one's going to be open to the group.
Okay.
Let's talk about buying a car or leasing a car. Which way do you lean and why?
Buy a car. I'm not rich enough to lease. You only lease a car if you have
you can get your APR.
Billions of dollars. No, we buy our cars.
If you have if you want to finance a car, for instance, right? Like you're not paying cash for it, and you can get a low enough rate, then I think that it makes sense. But the math on it is less clear than it used to be. I do believe that if you do the calculations with the lease versus buying, they depreciate cars so much now. There was a time during COVID where the used cars were selling at such a high premium that, like, of course you're going to buy a car. But you look at some cars now depreciating 50% or more in 3 years. And it really starts to get hard to justify buying a car versus leasing.
My wife and I were leasing cars for, we've been married 20 years. So for 12 years, we leased a few cars. I said, you know what? That doesn't make sense. We're going to buy the car. So we bought a car. The payment was higher. We had it for 4 years. We sold it. And then I did the math. factored all that in, and it's like, oh, okay, I basically paid $75 a month more over the 4-year period.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
You know, and I ended up paying for repairs and things. So
the other nice thing about leasing is that if you run a business, it's a lot easier to do write-offs on a lease than it is.
All right. I honestly I'm old school. My parents said never lease a car, and it's been 20 years that I've been living by that. So maybe
it's not as clear cut anymore.
Maybe I need to revisit my priors.
My life advice is to buy a used Toyota and drive it for 400,000 miles.
Well, I told you my son, who got his license last week, is driving a 2001 4Runner that has 210,000 miles on it, and it will run.
Well, that's
$4,000 for that car.
The only downside of a 2001 4Runner is that they have rust issues, but you don't probably use, I'm guessing Utah doesn't use salt on the roads as much as Michigan does. It's only really a problem
not like other places.
If you live in the Midwest or if you live by the ocean and you like driving on the beach, but that really is. I mean, I have a Toyota, and
Toyotas will run. We have 4
9
Toyotas.
years old, 10 years old now, and I'm
that's the correct answer
for the next 10 years.
Buy used and buy used.
Toyotas.
That's the correct answer. But obviously, not everybody buys used. People want to buy new.
There are cases where I could see leasing a car. You know, if you're going somewhere for business, you want to lease a car. You don't want to have to pay for the maintenance and everything on it. I could see it making, especially with the price of cars these days, new cars.
Oh my gosh. And everything's expensive. Okay, I have a really quick parenting proud moment. He came in, my son just got his license. He came in this week. He's like, hey, my brake light's out. And so my husband ordered a new brake light on Amazon. And at 10 o'clock the other night, my son watched a YouTube video. We were in bed. He went out in the driveway and replaced his own brake light.
There you go.
Did it all by himself. I was so proud of him.
Congrats.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity.
Replacing his own brake light. I was very impressed. It made me feel like I'd done something good with that one.
All right, is that it?
One more. Here we go.
Okay.
This is the season finale of the podcast. What was the worst season or series finale ever, besides Game of Thrones?
I was going to say, everybody says, I've never watched Game of Thrones, but everybody says Game of Thrones.
Why did you say besides Game of Thrones? It is Game of Thrones.
It is Game of Thrones.
What about The Sopranos?
No, The Sopranos was very difficult to accept as that's a cliffhanger. For those who don't know about that, I won't say anything. But it didn't ruin the whole show. It didn't make you not like the characters up until that point, right? That's what Game of Thrones did. Game of Thrones took everything that you've been waiting 7 years for and just threw it down the toilet. It's like the Luke Skywalker tossing the lightsaber thing. It's just trying to change your opinion about the past and the characters that you liked. There's another one. Lost kind of sucks.
Seinfeld and The Office. Those are my two.
The Office is horrible. The ending is. The Office went on 3 seasons too long.
Oh yeah, that last season was rough.
I'm gonna say Lost. Because I got into Lost. I never watched the first season, but I got into it in the second or third season. And that was the beginning of a very long and painful lesson on how J.J. Abrams just cannot deliver a satisfying product. It's literally just, we have to go get the MacGuffin, and then we go get this other MacGuffin, and then we go get this other MacGuffin, and then we go get this other MacGuffin.
Spin up a million plot points.
And then it turns out that when the fans asked you on season 1, episode 1, if this was all just an allegory for purgatory, and you said it wasn't, that actually it was just an allegory for purgatory the whole time.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
And they specifically said it wasn't.
Years wasted.
The other one I didn't like that's more recent, for people who watch the spinoff of Breaking Bad, which is called Better Call Saul, which was an amazing show. I mean, it's very slow. You have to kind of be interested in that style of legal drama, I guess you would say. But the ending was surprisingly, it would have been very easy to write a very good ending to that. And they just, I don't know. People just I feel like they all get into a room and nobody can agree on anything. And so everything just kind of goes to crap. I don't know. I'm not sure why that happens. Tell us in your comments below what the worst is. Is it Cheers? Is it Dallas or Cheers where they wake up and it was all a dream?
It's not Cheers.
Which one was it? The show. Mr. B has to know this.
I don't know this, Dan.
Yeah, he wakes up and it was Ted. Was it Ted Danson? Who is that? What was he in? What show was
No,
that?
he married Whoopi Goldberg and he woke up and it was a nightmare.
Yeah, the dream
No,
season.
what show was Ted
Dallas.
Danson in?
Dallas.
Newhart.
Dallas. Yeah,
This is
Dallas.
And all the
Newhart.
events following it took place in Pamela's dream.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, Dallas. Yeah. I don't know. My sister
It wasn't
was
Ted Danson. It was Dallas, but it wasn't Ted Danson. But I got that right.
See,
All right.
we can't just criticize modern TV. We can also criticize some of the stupid things.
Twin Peaks.
Seinfeld's guys. We didn't even mention Seinfeld.
I said Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I said it, but you guys were
said it,
man-talking
yeah.
over me.
Mansplaining, toxic masculinity.
Women.
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 Anyway.
The Twin Peaks season finale. I love Twin Peaks with all of my heart, but the season finale of season 2 was interesting and rough. But
I didn't like the way Titanic ended.
Bad.
That was a lot of people died. It just felt unnecessary. All right. On that note, thank you guys for joining us for a first season of Beyond Parody, and we look forward to coming back in mid-January, refreshed. We might change things up a little bit. Who knows? Have a new intro song or something like that. I don't know. We're going to do something crazy.
Change me out for a younger woman.
We'll switch Robin out.
Robin's haircut will be Rachel Maddow's haircut for season 2.
And I hope you guys have a great Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you, and to all a good night.
Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho.